All right, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in once again to the Black Box Podcast, BBOR, Black Box Online Radio. Today we're going to talk all about the Flat Earth Theory, the Flat Earth Society, and some of its most famous believers. What on earth is really going on with America and the world? Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend this is only exclusive to America. What's going on with the planet Earth? You know, why are so many people bringing up the flat Earth theory all of a sudden over the last 14 months? You know, like we had this one time in 2012 and 2011 when it was all about Bigfoot. The show Finding Bigfoot was taking off, and they did all these shows on the Discovery Channel, and I think the History Channel as well was running things. Everybody was just obsessed with Bigfoot, and people thought it was real. Like, you scroll through the comment sections on YouTube and Facebook, and people actually believe this, or at the very least, they're pretending that they do and showing off that side that they would believe in something like that. About 3 years before that, it was ghosts. Remember ghost hunters and ghost adventurers? And everybody was caught up with that sort of mania about, you know, just going along with something that isn't exactly confirmed by modern mainstream science. I would say that the two biggest things that the YouTube community, well, I can just lump it all into one. The biggest thing I find that the YouTube community does not believe in is just psychic powers. I've never really seen a strong movement regarding psychic powers, hopefully thanks to the work of the amazing Randy. J-Ref for life, people. Now, what about the Flat Earth Society? How did this fad take off? And, you know, like, the people who are promoting this first kind of began as a conspiracy theory, so to speak. And by that, I mean, I was talking about this with someone, and they just asked me, well, what's their science to support that the Earth is flat? And I was like, well, now before we get to that, I got to preface this by saying they really like to go with the conspiracy side first, that the emblem of the United Nations depicts Earth as if it were flat. That at the time, you know, you could put a person on the moon, but you couldn't walk across Antarctica. And they would show how this is how you fake a photo of the Earth from space. You know, you can use it with a painting, like some dark construction paper, and a light box. And there was this one great video on YouTube about it. It shows how you fake a photo of Earth from space to make it look round. And I was just like, so what's your point? Your painting of the Earth looks like the real Earth? I mean, like, that was their sort of scientific approach. No, the Flat Earth Society has some real things that they say that they're like, you know, they actually have some scientific arguments that they put out, such as the Earth is a flat disk that is constantly moving upward in space. Gravity is actually much stronger than we think it is. The sun is also very local, and the sun is much closer around the Earth, and the sun just kind of goes in a sort of circle above the Earth. So part of it is dark, and part of it is light. The sun is very, very close to the Earth, not like what we think it is with our typical planetary model. Okay, so some of the famous people that have endorsed this theory. For starters, we have to mention Kyrie Irving. Yeah, formerly LeBron's number 2. Now he's moved on elsewhere in the world, something to do with the Boston Celtics. And also none other than Geno Smith, the backup of all backups for the New York Giants, endorsed the Flat Earth Society, but people really thought he was only doing that to help his tarnished career. I am very surprised that people would believe something like the Flat Earth arguments because, okay, ghosts, right? Ghosts, that's a little bit different. I mean, the ghost thing is something that is a little bit more uncertain. I mean, I could definitely see why people would be more inclined to believe things associated with ghosts because you're dealing with, firstly, a lot of things like paranormal energy, which are difficult to record, and also just the evidence supporting theories for ghosts is much more abstract. But with things like Bigfoot or things like the Flat Earth Society, this is all very solid. You know, we're talking about very definite physical things that are existing on the Earth, or the entire Earth itself. I once wrote to the Flat Earth Society on Twitter, and I said that, hey, if the Earth is flat, like a disc, right, and the sun is just orbiting above the Earth, or, like moving in a circle above the Earth, does the bottom underside of the Earth get no sunlight at all? And, what's that like? What's the underside of this flat Earth disk look like? And then they told me that no side is left in the dark, silly. That was just their sort of response. But I was like, for starters, you're calling me silly. But secondly, they still didn't really answer the question. If the sun is always above our side of the Earth, then do we just have half of the Earth? The bottom side is that just some dark, barren desert with no life? I mean, what on earth would that look like? Furthermore, well, I mean, I'm not really going to try and justify the Flat Earth Society theories. I know I sound like I'm probably trying to ruin everybody's fun, but I don't know. This one I think was a little bit too far-fetched. Also, another famous person that was promoting the Flat Earth Society was Tequila, and she really had just one flat thing. Sorry, I was about to say one flat-out argument. I shouldn't have said that. She had one thing to say, and that was, show me a photo of the Earth with curvature in the horizon. And, she says that we'll never be able to find it, but for starters, that's quite easy to do from space. And on Facebook, someone was promoting, just their little kind of panoramic video showing that you can see the curvature in the Earth from space. But I don't really think people are quite settled on that. They are the people who believe in the flat Earth theory. If they do genuinely believe this, I mean, I don't think they would accept that as proof, because once again, you can always make a painting that just really, really looks like a panoramic video of space or something and videotape it, or whatever it is you would like to do. Why on earth are people so passionate about the flat Earth theories all of a sudden? And also, as I mentioned, something like ghosts or UFOs, I mean, the evidence for those things is much more, it's not as solid. So you would think with something as the flat Earth theory, it has such a small chance of being true. Like with UFO, for example, they show you this blob of light in the middle of the sky, and you don't know what it is. But the thing is, with the Earth, we know exactly what the Earth is. People are just trying to say that it's shaped differently. I mean, to be honest, part of me wishes that the Earth was flat, because, I would love to go walk along those ice sheets, on the absolute corner of space. And it would just be sort of like, I think that would be rather thrilling. Talk about number one tourist destination. The edge of the Earth? Yes. But one of the largest things about that is, I mean, I just can't really accept it. And I was very surprised that everybody was believing in this theory so passionately on Twitter and on Facebook and, in the comment sections on YouTube too. People talk about this thing like they genuinely believe it. And I have a big question to you, probably to the 8 or 9 people who are listening to my little podcast here. Do you think that people genuinely believe these things? Or, by this, I'm talking only about the flat Earth theory. Do you think that people genuinely believe the flat Earth theory? Or do you think that this is something that people are just doing for entertainment? Because I listen to a lot of conspiracy theories, and most of that is done for entertainment. I mean, I would really have to go back through, I'd have to put them all out in front of me and be like, well, maybe this one has some truth, maybe that one has a little bit of truth, but for the most part, I only follow that stuff just because it's fun to watch, and, it's almost like a fascination with kind of just different ideas. It's just different, and maybe there's some sort of rebellion in us all about how we want to challenge mainstream thinking, or at very least, we like hearing somebody who does challenge mainstream thinking. I mean, certainly that's how some people get their audiences, Maybe you can think of one name that comes to mind, or maybe two. But why are people promoting the flat earth theory so much on social media? Next question. Do you believe somebody like Kyrie Irving actually believes the flat earth theory? Or tila tequila? A lot of people were just thinking that Tila Tequila was fabricating things like that because she just wanted people to keep talking about her. It was one excuse to hold on to her 15 minutes of fame. And that actually has some sort of merit. Kyrie Irving, though, he's a basketball player. Geno Smith is a football player. But Kyrie Irving, isn't really someone who was... he already had an enormous amount of attention on him. Like, why would he say that the earth is flat if he didn't believe it? What would you say about that? All right, so we've talked about the flat earth theory in my very, very caffeine-induced rant once again. Overall, also I'll throw in one last comment question of the day. Is there any other kind of far-out paranormal conspiracy theory that you follow? Do you follow any paranormal events at all? Do you follow any sort of conspiracy theories that you find have a certain degree of truth in them? Whether it's JFK, 9/11, the Denver airport, and also stuff about, as I mentioned, paranormal, ghosts, spirits. What exactly do you find the most alluring in our terms of conspiracy theories or the paranormal? And we've already asked the big questions about the Flat Earth Society. All right, well, thank you for listening to this very, very off-kilter rant about why people are believing in the Flat Earth. And really it's just sort of, a challenge to all of humanity. Okay, if you have anything to say, please drop a comment below. That's all from me for now. And I hope to hear from you guys next time. Talk to you soon.